History is often remembered through the eyes. We see Versailles in vibrant oil paintings. We see the pristine white wigs, the billowing silk gowns, and the gold-leafed corridors of King Louis XIV reflecting the sun. It looks like a heaven on earth, a place where gods walked among mortals. But history has forgotten one sense. It has forgotten the smell. Close your eyes and breathe. If you stood in the Hall of Mirrors in the summer of 1680, the air would not smell of roses or lavender, as the movies suggest. It was thick, heavy. It was a suffocating mixture of thousands of unwashed bodies, sour sweat, rotting food, and overpowering it all, the stench of human waste. Beneath the veneer of gold leaf and marble, Versailles was not a paradise. It was a gilded cage, filthy and reeking, a place where visual opulence was merely a mask for olfactory rot. Gold may deceive the eye, but the nose never lies. Versailles was built on arrogance. Louis XIV wanted an eternal symbol of power, a structure to subdue nature itself. But in the attempt to reach for the divine, the architects forgot the most basic human needs. The palace had over 700 rooms, 2,000 windows to catch the light, but when it was built, it had almost no toilets. Indoor plumbing was a foreign concept. In the 17th century mind, greatness lay in scale, not sanitation, and the consequences were catastrophic. With thousands of nobles, guards, and servants packed into a sealed space, nature forced a way out. Long corridors became public latrines. Dark corners under staircases, unused fireplaces, or even right behind heavy velvet curtains, all became relief stations. Stone and wood are not like soil. They do not clean themselves. They absorb urine soaked into precious oak floors, seeping through cracks, pooling in the foundations for decades. Cold marble walls trap the stench, radiating a humid cloud of ammonia whenever the temperature rose. It is said that on hot summer days, the stench of Versailles was so overpowering that new visitors would vomit at the gates. The palace didn't just contain the smell, it breathed it. But the stench didn't just come from the building, it came from the people living inside it. Today, we view water as purification. But in the 17th century, water was the enemy. Doctors believed hot water opened the pores, creating a gateway for the plague and toxic miasmas to enter the body. Bathing, in their view, was slow suicide. King Louis XIV, the most powerful man in Europe, is said to have bathed properly only twice in his entire life, and both times were by doctor's orders. Instead of water, they used dry towels. Instead of soap, they used spirits. Imagine heavy gowns and tight layers, worn continuously for weeks, soaked in sweat and grime. The human body became a mobile breeding ground for bacteria. To cope, they didn't choose to clean. They chose to cover. This was the era of powder and perfume. But perfume at Versailles was not a gentle allure. It was a weapon. Musk, ambergris, civet, heavy, animalistic scents, sprayed liberally onto clothes, wigs, and hand. They believed strong scents would overpower the smell of death. Men and women walked the palace's mobile clouds of fragrance, but the combination of overpowering perfume and unwashed bodies created a grotesque, cloying odor, the scent of preserved rot. Everything at Versailles was a veneer. Wigs hid heads, full of lice and disease-induced baldness. White powder hid smallpox, scars, and perfume hid the fact that even kings are merely mortal flesh. In the modern world, the bathroom is a sanctuary of privacy. But at Versailles, the word privacy did not exist. Solitude was viewed with suspicion. Power was measured by how many people surrounded you. Even the king's bowel movements were a solemn ritual. Decisa per se, a velvet-covered portable toilet, was considered Louis XIV's second throne. Courtiers competed for the honor of watching the king relieve himself. To be seen by the king, even in the most mundane moment, was a privilege. Shame was obliterated by ambition. When night fell, Versailles revealed its true form as a nightmare. With no flushing mechanism, waste was collected in chamber pots. At dawn, servants dumped them out windows into courtyards, or piled them in corridors waiting to be cleared. Beneath crystal chandeliers worth a fortune, rats scurried along the baseboards. Versailles was a grand paradox. The birthplace of the world's most complex etiquette was biologically uncivilized. They bowed with precision and danced elegant minuet, while their silk shoes stepped in the filth discarded the night before. The Palace of Versailles still stands, magnificent and proud. Today, the ancient scent has faded, scrubbed away by chemicals and modern ventilation. Tourists marvel at the gold, dreaming of the lives of kings and queens. But these stone walls remember. They remember the suffocating heat of those summers. They remember the filth hidden behind the silk. Versailles teaches us a brutal lesson about history, that luxury is not synonymous with cleanliness, that the peak of civilization often borders on savagery. King Louis XIV wanted to build a paradise to separate himself from the common filth, but in the end, he was forced to live within the stench of his own creation. Gold may blind the world, but it cannot mask the biological reality of life. Every empire eventually fades. What remains, sometimes, are just the whispers of the wind, and a naked truth beneath the dust of time.